in the States. Hey, welcome to BCB Live. You have Drive Safe Dave recognizing wearing the stop shirt. Stop, drop, and roll. You know what? Oh, no, dude, stop. Stop that, please. Hey, we're getting a little bit late start, and it's because we just didn't have enough material today. So we said, you know what? Let's start a little later. Let's. You know what? We didn't have
first. Let's argue.
About.
Let's argue a little bit up here first, and then we'll start the show. We had.
Hey, so we were talking about, and we're going over some streaks, right? And pretty amazing stuff. Right? How many days free are we?
92.
And I've gone, and we started arguing because I said I've gone 30 years plus without an accident. What is 90 days, Drive Safe, Dave? 30 years I've gone accident-free.
Well, I would compare the 92 days collectively that we as a group have been successful far exceeds the number of miles that you've put on an automobile by, I would say, maybe tenfold. If you take all of the drivers, multiply them by 92 days, and you place that into a number, I would challenge.
Greater than the, call it 20 miles I drive a day? Greater than that?
Like massively greater.
Hey, phenomenal streaks. We're proud of you for what you're doing. We're excited for what you do. You're focused on the streaks. And there's one thing we want to make sure you're aware of all over the country today, and that's there's a lot of school buses out there right now.
Absolutely.
It's time to watch out. It's time to share the roads with the school bus drivers and those kids that are going to be texting, calling each other. Here's my number, so call me maybe.
And they're going to be running into the street, not paying attention to where they're going.
They haven't seen people in years. You know, they haven't seen you. Oh.
They haven't chased each other in a long time. And here it is, an opportunity to chase somebody right out into traffic. So make sure that you're very careful out there with the people who are going to school and the children out there. Plus, we really haven't seen an uptick in the number of new drivers out on the road like we will this year.
Do me a favor. Here we go. We're going to pretend, because you haven't seen this yet. Stand like that. I'm driving a bus, and I stop, open the door. You got to stop. When you see that, when that bus driver's driving, they open that door up, that stop sign comes out.
Sign right here.
You got to stop. You got to get them. And what are the rules on that anyway? Just as close as you can, stop. Just don't pass it. Are there some rules with the stop sign?
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about it all the time. And you cannot, if a school bus has started its yellow flashing lights and instigating a stop, then you can no longer pass. That has created a closed intersection, and therefore the children are allowed to move, and you have to stay back and allow for the right of way of the children to move until the intersection is opened again. That is a closed intersection. The only time that it is, and it goes for both sides of the road, coming and also in the same lane of travel, unless it's a divided road, unless there's a median in the road. If there's a median in the road, the opposite lane can be open. But I would say, I challenge you, even on a split road or a median road, be very careful.
Very careful.
It
sounded like you said
I said no.
Listen,
I said
you can't pee out there on the road. I mean, however, you make a good point. If you're gonna pee very careful, but also be very careful out there on the road.
Did I say pee? I'm sorry.
You know what, Drive Safe? I think you've had some extra coffee this morning. What did you do? You got something different going on.
We're trying a new brand. I'm trying a Honduran. I'm trying a new Honduran blend.
Hey, reduce the quantity that you're using on that. All right, go with half a pot or whatever you're doing. You know, do something
on
else
my third cup. But you know, I like coffee. What's wrong with coffee?
There's nothing wrong with coffee. Hey, we're gonna try something new since we're not ready today. We got a paper here. I'm going to pick out a story.
All right, let's go.
A random story, Drive Safe Dave, and you're going to talk about something on here.
Come on, let's go. Let's see.
All right, here we go. You know what? It actually has to do with transportation. West Coast, this is out of the Wall Street Journal, West Coast ports see jams again. What do you know about this?
Well, I know that all over the United States, we are seeing record numbers of imports coming into every port in the United States, not only on the West Coast, but on the East Coast and everywhere.
The central states, are they seeing the same thing? Are they seeing the same jams?
A lot of the ships aren't. They can't deliver in Nebraska. Some of the container ships aren't able to actually deliver into Nebraska, but they're trying. They're working their way there. But I mean, and you know what? There is a great number of trucks and ships And I'll tell you what, it's putting a cap on the amount of freight that's going to be able to be delivered, right? They're maxed out, right? They're kind of like at the very top, and they're trying to get everybody in. So I know that when they hold up in our ports, that means they can't go back and get more. So when they can't go back and get more, then it just kind of like is a domino effect on the freight being moved here.
Yeah, so Friday, check this out. On Friday, 125 ships parked outside of California for the 2 ports that are parked waiting to get in or something. It's a record, and we're in August, okay?
It's not
it's a record. The last time we set our first record was in like February the 1st in the slowest period. Here it is now. It's not yet peak season, and we're already having port congestion. Hey, look right here, Drive Safe Dave. We look at the Ocean Shipment Index. These are coming out of China, and we're only looking at Long Beach right now. Look at last year in the dotted yellow line. That was last year. Here's where we are right now in the blue. Again, significant freight increase. 38, that's actually 19.5% year over year. Okay?
Wow.
When we look at the 20-foot equivalent to the next 7 days, here's what's coming in right now. We're like almost at like 330. We're over the graph. Last year,
they don't even have a number.
Exactly. Last year we were at 250.
Wow.
Coming in the next 7 days, we're already exceeded that. Heck, let's just look at Long Beach. Let's see what we got going on at Long Beach. That's Jacksonville, Florida. It's close. Here we go. Long Beach, California. Same thing. Right there and right there. Tons of increases going on in Long Beach, LA. It just doesn't matter right now. It's just there's freight galore everywhere. Even in the ocean, it's not even sitting here yet. There's no reason for a freight review today.
Traffic jams. They're having to take their break out there in the ocean. They can't run. They're actually having to take a 34 out there. Some of them are waiting. What are some of the lengthy wait times that they're taking? Do you have any idea?
Long time.
Like what do you mean, like 2 days? Like 7 days? I'm
Some
just
of
curious.
these can go 7-14 days.
Wow, that's crazy.
We'll have to get some of the experts on there and maybe actually read that article. But they are, in what we've seen in the past, there's fairly decent long rates. Hey, what do you think, too? We were speaking this morning in the conference room about Werner. There's some things that we didn't understand in there. But, yeah, so Werner's trying to go back, and they're asking for a CLP exemption.
That's CPL. I
believe
it's
CPL?
a CPL. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I believe it's.
I thought it was
No,
commercial learner.
it's CLP.
Permit.
It's commercial
I'm sorry,
learner.
Yeah, so
CLP.
learner's permit. Oftentimes they put those in order like that. So C, commercial, L, learners, P, permit. You know what? You speak Spanish. Sometimes you get those words just kind of crossed
Okay, I'm
around.
sorry. It is. I'm a little dyslexic. Dude. I'm working on it. I'm trying this morning.
First, why are you trying to correct Sir Rick? On national TV anyway.
Okay.
Even if, Sir Rick, if for some reason I was wrong.
Can we talk about the story?
You don't have to correct me.
Can we talk
I
about
try not to correct you, except for right now. Anyway, hey, it's the CLP exemption, which is really, it's what they want to do is take that learner's permit. So a learner's permit is not the same thing as a CDL.
No. You have to take, so you pass your school, and you pass all the requirements and all the tests, and you get your learner's permit, and then you go to your home. Yep. And when you get to your home,
right now under the commercial learner permit, you still have to have a CDL driver in that seat next to you. That's what happens today. You have to have a CDL holder in that seat next to you if you hold a commercial permit license or license permit. Now I don't know what it is.
Commercial learner's permit.
Whatever that is.
Yes, commercial learner's permit. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so that the drivers can go home in a truck. They can go home and they don't have to, because they have to go back to from the school, they have to go back to Nebraska, and they have to go back to, Kansas, and they have to go back to the places of origin to get their license in their home state. Because that's where they have to get their commercial license.
And that can take a period of time.
That can absolutely take a period of time.
They throw 6,800 students through this a year, which is pretty amazing, right?
It's incredible number.
It's pretty amazing what they do on that. And Drive Safe, here was the thing that I really got out of this article when they're doing this. When they're talking about this, getting this exemption, and they say, quote unquote, there's no difference between these drivers and all other professional drivers on the road. And I'm just going to,
oh, no.
with somebody that's driven 30 plus years, accident free, I have a problem with that statement. What do you think about that, Drive Safe?
I think what they meant was I think what they meant was requirement-wise. I don't think what they meant was experience-wise. I do believe what they're trying to say is legal requirement-wise.
And I'm going to go out and just guess and say this, is that, you know, and I don't know if we need to even get any people to raise their hands out there and ask them, but I'm going to go out there and say most of the folks watching this right now, you agree with me that you learn a lot after you get your learner's permit as well. I mean, you don't learn everything in there.
I'm going to tell you right now, I truly believe, and I've always believed, that you need 2 full seasons to really understand trucking out there on the road, to truly get it, right? 2 full seasons.
Do you still think you need 2 full seasons,
I do.
even with the automation that's in the vehicles today?
Absolutely.
With the help that you have today, you still need that?
Absolutely. I think it's invaluable. I think you can get lucky and get through an easy winter, or you can get lucky and get through an easy summer. But you're not typically going to go through 2 full winters and not get hit hard and experience out there on the open road those devastating moments when there's this much snow on the ground, or when there's ice on the windshield.
Well, isn't that decision to pull over already there, though?
But what?
Isn't that decision been made to pull over already?
To what?
To pull over.
No, if the roads are clear, but you also have it comes down and things like that happen. I mean, you encounter inclement weather. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to pull over, but you should slow down, or you should be, and you should travel at the right rate of speed. I'm just saying there are moments when experience matters.
Hey, you know what? Let's put that out to our experienced folks that are watching this show right now. Hey, how many seasons do you believe you needed, or a new driver needs, before we should really trust them out there? Are you saying on their own drive safe, Dave?
Yes.
So you're thinking a new driver needs 2 seasons before he or she should drive themselves?
No. I'm saying that to consider themselves an experienced driver, not and a person with a good experience record behind them. Before 2 full years, for me, they're kind of still a beginner out there. There's kind of still a rookie. Most of the time, rookie implies 1 year. I just don't think 1 year totally encompasses something like driving out there on the open road. I just think it just happens time and time again that you might get lucky with. You might not be in the Northeast, right? In the one winter, you might be working a lot in the South or what have you. But typically, over a 2-year period, you get into those situations in which you learn what you need to do in some of the things like that.
And we got to drive around there before, and it works more for those drivers that don't have the experience, say, in the snow. Because if you grew up driving that first year and you're up in the north side, you don't need that experience to drive during summertime in Texas, right? It doesn't work quite the same way.
They are different, but I would suggest that you use an air conditioner if you're running in the summertime and not use one in the wintertime in Minnesota.
Producer, give us some help.
Yeah, we actually got 2 here. So, Bob Bumpus, what do you got for us? Then we got
Hey, Bob,
Dude
what's
after
going on,
that.
Bob?
Hey, I just wanted to say, I've been driving 20 years and, I still don't know everything about driving. I'm still inexperienced. We got to know what we're doing out here.
Yeah, and that's a great point because, and I guess exactly what he's saying is what we talk about is that, man, you learn every single year.
Oh, yeah.
You're learning. And if you're on this show, one of the things that really make a big difference is that you are learning from the experts, your brothers and sisters out there when we watch videos. That's what makes this show work. Producer, who else we have?
Yeah, we got Cool Dude on the line. What do you got for us, sir?
What's going on, Warren?
This guy, Cool Dude, knows it all.
Yeah, what's up? No, I don't, Rick. I don't care how long you've been driving. There's always different people driving around you. Hey, 2 years is okay to get started, but you just can't experience everything in a year. 2 years is okay, but you're not really a seasoned driver till you get up there about 7 years. I mean, a good, solid, seasoned driver is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
About 7 years,
I
7
agree with
years.
you.
Okay.
And, we could argue the full number all day, Warren. I agree with you totally. That's a seasoned driver. I'm just saying beyond the rookie status. The one where you look over your shoulder and go.
Would be 2.
Do what now?
Yeah. 2.5 years, right around in there. Yeah, give or take.
I agree with you.
All right, guys.
Hey,
Rick.
Cool Dude, I don't want
Sir,
you to...
Rick.
Hey, give me one more question for you, Cool Dude. Hey, go back, many, many, many years ago when you first started driving.
Ooh.
Where are you today compared to where you were those first 2 years as a safe driver?
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't have to push your car. You know, I think when I started driving, they had Flintstone cars. You know, no, I'm just kidding. No, a lot better. A lot better. The technology and the trucks nowadays are a lot better. They're so more advanced than what they was then. You know, you had cab overs and stuff. Just about everybody was running cab overs back then. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then it switched over in the early 80s to the conventionals, and it just kept progressing. The engines got better, the trucks got better fuel economy, more power, and and still keeping fuel economy. And then you got into APUs. It started shifting to drive in the trucks with APUs, inverters, where you could actually not have to eat out of a can or a heating pot. Them old electric heating pots you used to get and put into cigarette lighters, and cords would melt. Everything else, it changed dramatically over the years. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. And you forgot the number one thing is, and then Yingling came.
Oh, come on now. Let's leave Satan in hell. And
hey, we appreciate
oh, I'm sorry,
that.
Bobby.
Right.
I didn't mean to say hell.
All right.
But
Hey,
anyway,
we appreciate you, Cool
Rick,
Dude. Let's get Cool Dude out of here before he gets
all right.
He gets
Yeah,
everybody
we're
fired
see.
up.
Or he gets in trouble.
Who else do we have?
Yeah, David Mason, what do you got for
What's up,
us?
David?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, David.
I just want to talk about those streaks. Rick's 30-plus years there. If you do the math, at 13 weeks, 90-something days, there are 300 trucks at roughly 2,800 miles a truck. There's over 10 million miles in that 90-some days. So see if that stacks up to your 30-plus years there, Rick.
Oh, I like that. You know what? So I was trying to do that math while you're doing that for the 30 years, but let's just say I put 10,000 miles a year driving. Drive safe, Dave. Where does that stack up now? Not real impressive, right?
It's not that impressive.
You know what? The streak, and that's what you're out there facing, though, every day, David Mason, are folks like me that have driven 30 years out there in our cars, and most of us have gotten lucky
300
that we've gone that long without an accident. Most of us are considerably lucky because we can stop at the very last second and nothing happens. We can hit another vehicle maybe sometimes and we don't put a mark on it.
Or we actually think we know how to drive very well, or know all the rules of the road, or do it better than anybody else. I think one of my favorite things is rarely do I ever hear somebody say, I'm a bad driver. I usually hear somebody say, I'm a good driver. I have never, I don't ever hear anybody go, you know what, I just suck at it. I mean, I haven't really ever heard that.
I text all the time. I'm always on. I'm never looking at it.
And you know what? There are an incredible number of accidents out there on the road. We have to be real with ourselves, and we have to understand and be honest. And not be in denial about what we do out there and how we do it, right? We have to be truly honest with the way in which we drive, and be very critical not only of the equipment when you get out there and look at it, but also be very critical about how you do it out there. Make sure that you understand that, and when you do make a mistake, do everything you can to correct it and make sure you don't do it again.
Drive safe, Dave. We're just around the corner. We're a week away, right, from 100 days?
We are.
We're a week away. Next week, 100 days. What can we do to further push these drivers out there that are driving today to stay safe? What can we do for them at that 100th day inside of this studio?
You know what? That's a great, I'd like to hear, and don't just leave it up to Drive Safe Dave. We could also maybe get some people to chime in at BCB Live at bcbtransport.com.
This is more spirit stuff, okay?
Yeah.
What can we do? What do you need from us? I mean, you have the school bus guy here. We're driving. Shh. What can you do? What can we do to keep you focused on safety? Producer, who do we got?
Brian Brzezowski, what do you got
Big
for us?
Blue.
Man, I really think that after the wedding, David should probably put in the 100 again.
What is wrong?
You know what? You do have a wedding, so let's. I'm glad Brian Big Blue said that because you do have a wedding, so we can't do anything crazy with this guy
Not
until
to me.
after.
Yeah, I got pictures.
after
My
the
daughter
100.
would. My wife and my daughter would.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would kill me if I did something
no,
crazy.
we don't. We're not. Yeah, we got to.
I
really
live
thought
there.
Big Blue was going to come with a snake.
Yeah,
That won't show up on the wedding if he gets bit by a
snake bit.
If we do it on his back, I think we can get away with it, right?
Yeah, I'm somehow safety / snake biting. Those are like.
Well, if it's a garden snake.
It's just a grass snake. We'll be good. No poison.
I don't know that biting animal bites is probably.
I'll work on that. I'll work on 100 bites for 100 days of safety. I like it.
Snake bite.
That's thinking
I don't
outside
know.
the box. We like that.
Do you
We
anywhere?
encourage snake bite.
Do we encourage animal bites, Sir Rick, in the safety department? Is that part of the? I just don't know that those. I think those are on far ends of the
Producer,
spectrum.
we got somebody else out there? No. All right. So, hey, email us at bcblive@bcbtransport.com. Let us know what we can do. We're going to give Drive Safe Dave another week to be able to at least get out that wedding, right? We can't mess with this guy, not during wedding week. It's going to be a heck of a week anyway for you next week.
It's already. I had a little bit of an argument. I can't even tell you this. I had a little bit of an argument it was yesterday with my daughter on what my duties were, what I would be doing, and
Write
the
a check.
list.
Besides writing a check out, what could you possibly? What could she
she
ask
had
of you?
Are you kidding me? She came in with a list, and I was like, no. I'll tell you what. I said, let's be honest. I said, let's find somebody that coming to the wedding that you've invited that doesn't have a job, and I'll pay them to do what I'm supposed to do.
So
My job is to push
one or
you
two
towards
examples.
the.
Give me 2 examples of what's on that list.
Break down the archway that
Oh
we.
my
yeah.
God!
Yeah, I said
I will
negative.
be out of there before that ever happens. Yes.
I said
I
negative.
forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh, there's all kinds of. Oh, she has look, I love her. She's a planner, but she has like everything every single person needs to do that's a part of the deal. And she has broken down into job duties and titles and supervisors and managers and I'm like, I said, you can scratch my name off the list. I sign the check and hand out the tip money to all the vendors. I'm good.
Here we go. How about a phrase that pays for our listeners out there?
Yeah, and it has to do with situational awareness. Are you ready?
Weird, but let's go.
All right. Situational awareness is always key to keep the road safe for you and me.
One more time, Drive Safe Dave.
Situational awareness is always key to keep the road safe for you and me.
Hi, and welcome to another round of Rapid Fire. Today we've got Big Blue. You ready?
We're in blue.
See, it's
There we
perfect. Okay, what's your hidden talent?
I don't know if I have any.
If somebody were to play you in a movie, who would it be?
Probably Superman.
If you could change your name, what would it be?
Darth Vader.
When's the last time you stayed up past 4 a.m.? New Year's Eve?
Maybe New Year's Eve.
What's something you could eat for a week straight?
Pizza.
Who couldn't? Speaking of, what's your favorite carb? Bread, pasta, rice, or potatoes?
Pasta.
And tell me what you like to do on the weekends in a Valley Girl voice.
What? I don't even know. What does a Valley Girl sound like?
Oh my God.
Okay. So what I like to do on the weekends on the Valley. Oh my God. I like to play golf.
There you go. Thanks for joining us. Hi, and welcome to Rapid Fire. Today we are joined by Riley. So we're just going to jump right in. Okay. Where would you go if you were invisible? What's your favorite sound?
Waterfalls.
If you won $1 million, what would you buy?
Camaro.
That's it?
Well, that would be the first thing. I don't know about the rest.
Who was your first celebrity crush?
Justin Bieber.
Say something in a Russian accent.
Russian? I don't know. That wasn't Russian.
And finally, are you more scared of your mom or your dad?
My mom.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Rapid Fire.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the safety portion of the BCB Live. It's Double Check Dale. in front of the cameras right now, waiting for Bob to get mic'd up. We'll just jump right into it. It is Wednesday. I know they already talked a little bit about the streak. You know, we're at 92 days, preventable accidents. The get out and look is 7 days. We're a week there, you know, heading toward that record of 68. How do you do it? 1 day at a time. Drivers, great job getting out, looking before you back up, preventing those accidents. Nice job on that. You know, this week we're talking about Brake Safety Week, which actually starts this weekend, starts on the 22nd, but, you know, as I pointed out, they probably get started a little ahead of time to do that. Probably start like on Saturday night and rolling that. And so we've been talking about brakes, and we've been talking about tires, we've been talking about pre-trips. And so today's topic is, you know, tires. You know, part of a good pre-trip is looking at your tires. And, you know, we've been sharing some of the BCB numbers with you. 19 of the 149 vehicle violations were tire related. That's 13%. I mean, we're walking around the trucks, we should be looking at our tires and seeing those. And here's the thing, out of those 19 violations, all 8 of them were 8 points. That's as high a point value as you can get in vehicle maintenance. Out of those, 16 of them were out of service criteria. So if you have a tire defect or violation, guys, gals, probably going to be an out of service one. So let's be checking those tires. Let's take a look at them. Here's the one that I thought was just astonishing, because our number one tire violation is flat or audible leaks. We had 10 violations for flat tires or audible leaks. And I get it, you know, sometimes you get a flat tire going down the road, but, you know, during the course of a day when you stop or get out of your truck, do that walk around, look at your tires, kick them, and go from there. So, you know, we have an opportunity, like Bob said, to improve our vehicle maintenance scores with this upcoming Brake Safety Week. You know, they'll be doing a lot of Class 1 inspections or 1 inspections, which will be the brake measurements and all that. So, you know, we have a real opportunity. So when we're doing our pre-trips, let's really pay attention to those brakes. Let's pay attention to the condition of the tires. And if you have a question or if you're not sure, hey, stop by a shop and or send some pictures. Ask our maintenance, our equipment department. They'll be able to, you know, maybe give you some advice on where to take it or if it needs to be looked at further. So, you know, with that, let's take a short break and we'll go to weather.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. You know, we got some weather going on. As you can see, it's going to be a rainy day for the Texas area, especially Dallas. You can already see we got some storms to the north between here and the Red River. So if you're anywhere in that area on 35, you're probably going to be running into some storms. You can see 30 here running into Arkansas, also has some storms. And then we got some out here going to Abilene, I believe. Yep. So again, you can just see it just kind of hooks around Dallas, but we are expected to see rain all day today. And then into tomorrow. I think tomorrow there's even a 40% chance. As you can see right now, it stretches all the way from Abilene to Memphis, Tennessee. And then we've got some up here. That should be the last of Fred, I'm guessing, is up here in Ohio and Pennsylvania, dumping the rain still on there. And then a little bit back there in Utah, we got a small line. So not too bad, but it is going to expected to get all day. So we'll kind of see what this afternoon looks like. So there you can kind of see the whole eastern third of Texas, and then the entire mountain ranges all the way up to Montana has a chance for rain, all along the south, and then up here in the northeast as well. So a lot like yesterday. Remember, we just had this one area right here that didn't seem to have much going on. Our wind gusts, we're going to see some wind this afternoon. You know, currently not too bad. Got some 20s out there, some mid-20s. But today we're going to see a lot of wind. There in Vegas, 36. So there's going to be some chance. There's a lot of purple there, which means there's some 45 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts possibilities. Doesn't mean that they're going to happen. This is just forecasted for today. Our current actual winds Let's see if we got anything that pops out of there. There's a 20 in Nebraska. But looks like 30-mile-an-hour gusts. So, again, that's currently going on. And where was the other one? Vegas here. There we go. We can kind of see right there, Richfield, 25-mile-an-hour gusts. Vegas, 29. So right now we're looking in that upper 20s to right at 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts for today. So, hey, just watch the winds. And as they increase today, as winds increase, we have to decrease our speed. So you can see Grace has gotten stronger and bigger, and that is exactly what was expected. It is still well south. I still believe that they're planning on Tampico as one of the landing points for the storm this weekend. So you can see it's Wednesday already. So around Friday or Saturday, it should hit Mexico. We may see Laredo, Brownsville, so that area, maybe even the edge of Corpus Christi might see some as the storm moves and hooks. So we'll kind of see what, again, I trust the weather channel on this one, but see now this one shows it well south, actually going to hit Mexico City. So we'll give an update on that this afternoon. I'll get a chance to look. I did not get a chance to look at the Weather Channel's latest forecast because we're still a couple days away. As you can see, this is Friday at 3 p.m., but it gets strong and it's huge. I mean, what a big area. That almost looks about 200, 250 miles. So this thing's going to have a big path, it looks like, as it sweeps across Mexico. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And then Henri actually moved a little closer to the shore than they want. But again, here's the kind of the circle point, if you will, right there that it's all running around. And so it's, yeah, they do go counterclockwise. I don't know why I just noticed that. I'm like, wait a minute, he's spinning backwards. So is Grace. So apparently when you get a hurricane, it spins backwards. All right. So anyways, it's gotten, right here's the eye, which is what it said, and it's supposed to hook and go. That's for Friday. I'm sorry. I thought it was a little odd that it was already past there. So there it is. So it is going to just, as you can see, Friday it started to move up here. So that's exactly what they're expecting it to do. So that no problems that we're expecting from these hurricanes right now. Do we got anything coming up? Wow. Nothing defined, but you can just see big trough of wind. What do we got as far as rain and thunder and any of that down here? So we'll be watching this path as it moves across. Right now, the pattern is to keep it well south of the U.S., which is a good thing for us. We don't want any of that anyway. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with some videos.
Welcome to Rapid Fire. Today we've got DJ. So here we go. Talk or text?
Text.
At what age do you want to retire?
Now. I'm just kidding.
I like it. Do you snore?
Yes.
Do you believe in fate?
No.
What's for dinner tonight?
Pizza.
That sounds good. How many times did you sneeze in the last 7 days?
1.
What's your favorite carnival food?
20 dogs.
And have you ever seen a kangaroo in person?
No.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, welcome back, and let's take a look at some videos. It is great. I'm looking at a lot of videos, and the number of videos per day is going down. Here's one where we're doing a lot of things right. Again, our speed and space management is fantastic here. There's merge points. We're going slower than the track pulling away. Just a super job by our driver here. Great job. In the next couple of videos, Bob said it's going to be a wet and rainy day here in Dallas. And by coincidence, the next 2 videos are going to be drivers in wet conditions. And we are going 50 miles an hour. Posted speed here was 60 miles an hour. We've slowed down. That just gives us so much more time to make good decisions. It gives us more time to stop. We lose traction when we get wet and rainy roads. And so, you know, we have more time to stop if we're going slower. It doesn't take as long to stop. We have time to make better decisions. So just a great job here by our drivers, really, you know, listening to and following, you know, the safest practices.
Yeah, and there's a, you know, at the very beginning of this video, if when it comes back around, the producer can pause it. I see something that I really want to commend our driver on, and I'm curious at the end, right here, if you all would comment that, do you even look for this? But you can see most of the ponding and the water buildup is in that right lane, and we've moved over to the center lane. Stayed out of the hammer, which we should, but the center lane doesn't have as much water going under these underpasses or overpasses. And so, you know, one of the things that we know is most of these overpasses, when you go under them, there's a dip in most of the road where water's going to stand. So when it's raining, do you think about that at all? Do you actually plan on, hey, the water's probably good? Because also a lot of these highways get domed so that the water runs off, right? And so when you've got no place for it to go, as you can see here, it's going to be in that right lane. And so I was just curious, does that even come into your thought process? So again, at the end of the show, hey, let's talk about that. I'm just curious what y'all think. Great job by our driver.
Yeah, and again, here's just another one that shows we know we've made the adjustment for the weather. You know, visibility goes down when we start seeing rain, and so we can't see the big picture as well. And so by slowing down, that allows us to see the big picture a little more clear. And again, gives us more time to process everything that's going around. So just a great job by our drivers listening and doing what needs to be done when road and weather conditions are changing out there.
Yep, people moving away from us in rain, always a good sign.
Yep. You know, here's one, you know, big picture, driver does nothing wrong, but there is so much happening in a short amount of time here. I mean, first thing that comes up is there's a construction zone. So we have an off ramp, and then right away we have an on ramp. And if you'll see here, it's a very short, the on ramp, very short merge lane. And so everybody has to be paying attention to what's going on. One of the things that I noticed in this video is there's a lot of black tire marks on the highway here when you look at this.
Great point.
That tells you that, you know what, there's a lot of oh shit moments going on. Sorry for the French, but there's a lot of oh crap moments going on, and that we should be a little bit more aware. And it's really has to do with that merge point that we see right here in a very short merge lane, you know, so we have to make sure our speeds are appropriate. And if we have to slow down even more to let those cars out, four-wheelers out, vehicles on, that's what we must do. Because like I said, there is a lot going on. Great job by our driver being big picture and seeing it and watch what he's doing.
Yeah, and I hope the driver's on to kind of walk us through this because, wow, you talk about a lot of decisions that changed and had to be made. You know, here our driver's doing a great job. We see we've got a merge point. We've got construction. We're slowing down. This car moves over. They're going to almost stop. Right? We actually stopped. Now you got this truck. Now the only thing I would have liked to maybe have seen, if you can be really nitpicking, is we just stop. You know, because here, you know, this truck that's coming up on our right is going to cause, the potential there is a cause. And then he says, oh crap. Right? Now he wasn't paying attention, or if he was, he just assumed everybody's going to stop and let him go. But yeah, he caused all you know, here our driver's doing a great job here, and then some idiot, there he is going to change the whole scenario, right? And man, I would love to hear what our driver was thinking if he called that truck any names. It's okay, I would have, I think, but I mean, I just want to hear the human side of this because great job by our driver, and what allowed him right here in that critical moment was his speed. Folks, the videos show it. If you don't believe it, it is critical in everything. You have to just slow down. And you have to slow down so that you can stop. And here, our driver could have stopped if he wanted to, or needed to. And that's a great job. That's what we're looking for.
You know, and this is one, you know what? We just have to slow down. Like you said, Bob, we just have to slow down. We should not be in that big a hurry to try making our load. If we're going to be late, if we have to hurry that much because we just blew through that stop sign at about 10 miles an hour, if we're in that big a hurry or we're running late, get a hold of your DM, get a hold of somebody and say, hey, you know what, traffic's been heavy today. I can't make this, you know, can't make my delivery time. Can we back it up? Don't take these kind of chances by not stopping. I mean, this is just flat out unsafe. It's against the law. I mean, and we're just not doing what BCB says we're trying to do, protecting life when we do this type of thing. And so, like I said, slow down. Don't get in a hurry. If you're going to be late, let somebody know. I mean, much rather have you be late than be in an accident, get somebody hurt, get yourself hurt. And so just, you know, pay attention, slow down. Your day, you won't be near as stressed at the end of the day. I guarantee it.
Absolutely right.
I guarantee it.
And I think now looking back that I've called this driver before, so we're going to check our records and then, you know, this may be our last call, but you're absolutely right. There's no room for that. Not a BCB, you know, and it really shouldn't be any room anywhere for that. So was that all of them?
Yep. That's
all right.
fine.
Hey, drivers, I want to hear from you if you can. Love to hear from the driver in the construction zone and the one that had the ponding going, that was sitting in the middle lane driving. I thought there were some great decisions. Just curious if that was just luck or if you had a plan and that was part of your assessment of the situation, your situational awareness, if you will. So hopefully they're on. If not, that's okay. Any other drivers, do you think about the wet and being in one lane or the other when you go down the highway because of potential water standing? You know, that would also be your input. So,
you know, Bob, that's really good because, you know, we start looking at these videos and we talk about, you know, the obvious things. And as we get better, we start looking at taking that to a bigger picture. So great point about the ponding.
Yes. All right. Who we got?
We got Cool Dude, David Mason, and then Lonnie Payne. What do you got for us?
All right. That sounds like some intelligent people there. Cool Dude.
Yes, sir, Bob Dastic. Yeah, when I drive, as far as ponding goes, when you're looking down the road as you're driving, even coming under them underpasses, sometimes sewers are backed up. You know, the drainage is.
Yep.
If you see a pond or a shine, you know, like a big patch that's shining and reflecting, that 9 times out of 10, that's ponding water. So you don't want to be hitting that, you know, at a fast speed or anything. And that does usually happen either in the hammer lane or on the shoulder and the right lane. So it's best to kind of be in the center lane. So that way it gives you time, you know, in case somebody else. What you really got to watch out is for when you see that and you're in the good and you're all clear. And here comes Mr. Guy running 80 mile an hour with half-worn tires, and he's not paying attention. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do, and I've seen it. Because in my thought process, in my car, I literally do pick the middle lane or the left lane when I'm going under these. Because, like I said, I know not every highway, but a lot of them are designed with a small little crown so that water can't get in the center of the highway and cause the whole highway to flood. It is channeled, if you will, to the sides. And you great point about the
tire depth.
That and the storms backing up. They get clogged with debris and trash. You know, the wind blows things around. So all kinds of things that go into that. And then you 100% are right, Cool Dude. The guy comes up. Now here you are. You know, we had a driver doing what, 50 miles an hour, right? Great job by our driver. Now some idiot comes in at 75, 80, doesn't slow down, hits that right alongside of us. You know, and that's the thing where it's hard to think about when you're driving, but I actually do on occasion, is I'm looking in my mirrors always. And if I see a merge point and I look in there, I'm like, man, this guy's going to be right next to me at this merge point. I actually slow down a little bit more so he passes me sooner so that I'm not in that congestion. It's almost like NASCAR on a tight track, right? Certain times at the beginning of the race, they sit back out of trouble because it's like, all right, you get in here, somebody go do something stupid, and now I'm taken out of the race, and I was doing nothing wrong, right? And it's kind of the same way there in the thought process. Hey, great points, Cool Dude. Who's next, sir? David Mason?
Yeah, we got David Mason, and then Lonnie Payne and Leroy Reed afterwards.
Right.
Hey, Bob. Yeah, I was just going to talk about that ponding also. A lot of times if I'm slow already for the rain, it depends on the traffic. If there's a little bit of traffic going on, I'll actually slow down even slower and be the one to go through the ponding. For that reason, I don't want that person doing 70 mile an hour to come around me in that lane that's like that. If I'm already going slow anyway, I'll slow down even further and be the one to go through the deeper water at a slower speed to keep everybody safer.
Yep. Good points. I appreciate that, David. And hey, as a reminder, when we adjust our speed, if we knock it down 15 or more below the posted, really should put our four-ways on and let everybody know that there's a problem ahead as well. Don't forget your four-ways. All right, Mr. Lonnie Payne is next.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning, Lonnie.
One thing that I'd like to point out, Bob, that I watch for is especially like you're talking about in Dallas today with the heavy rains, but it applies anywhere we go. In these construction zones with the shifting traffic patterns and things like that, where they put the Jersey walls up or the concrete barricades, man, you're talking about some ponding now, especially if you've got heavy rain going. That stuff gets up, and then we know there's very little tolerance in there for the lane widths. I mean, the vehicles are so close together already, and then you put that ponding in there. If somebody hits that just wrong, I mean, you've got a mess going. So I always just really watch that when you're in inclement weather in those construction zones. That's all I had, sir. Y'all have a blessed day. # family.
Hey, Lonnie, outstanding point. Man, this is what I love about our drivers. When we talk about these things, it's not just driving through the rain. We've already heard several variables. And another thing, Lonnie brings a great point. They put up these walls, the water can't get away like it normally could. So it's all going to be, it is a dangerous ponding. Then you got the traffic lane pattern that sometimes them lanes aren't clearly marked. No. So you got a car, and the rain makes it hard to see the faded ones, right? So you've got that. And then you got to always remember, depending on how long it's been raining, you've got all that dirt and oil from them trucks and that construction work, kicking up the dirt and stuff. Now that's going to mix with some light rain at the start and become like ice, because it hasn't had a chance to wash off. So, just about 5 to 6 observations in that little area. Great job. And Lonnie, 100% right. Who's next, Cowboy?
Yeah, we got Cowboy here. What do you got for us?
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah. Cowboy up. Cowboy says, I just park it and drive my horse. I just ride my horse through the rain. All right, Cowboy.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, there you are, buddy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I tried it yesterday, and my hand, I guess I wasn't my mic or something. Anyway, what I like doing is going through the pond is catching, walking on the sidewalk, and just put water all over. No, I'm just kidding.
Have you ever done it? Be honest. Have you ever done it, Cowboy? Be honest.
Only when they gave me the number one sign.
Hey, as a teenager, that was my favorite thing. Little kids on a bike sitting on a corner, and I wanted to see if I could splash them just right, knock them off their bike. And I'm sorry to say, in my meaner younger days and stupider days, I knocked a couple off, and here I am still laughing about it. It was so funny to watch them kids. They love being soaked. They didn't like so much being knocked off their bike. Go ahead.
I actually did it one time when the car had its window down. Kept cutting me off, but I said, okay, here's a pundit right here. But actually what Lonnie was saying, when you see the shadow, just slow down. Because like say the four-wheelers on that side, they're going to see and they're going to run right in front of you, try to get out of you. So actually that's about it. Y'all have a blessed day. Cowboy up.
Hey, thank you, sir. Anybody else, producer?
Yeah, we got, we did. I guess it was, Donnie Kaysen, would you still want to hop on and share what you got?
Great stuff.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
On that pond, when you know for a fact there's ponding and everything, slow down. Don't cover up those four-wheelers because that blinds them. Even in a big truck, you can get blinded. If somebody hits the ponding just right, you will lose your sight of where the roadway is. So, just be mindful of that because that is so dangerous whenever, a lot of drivers, they think it's funny. They think it's hilarious, by hitting, a big pond of water and covering up the four-wheelers. That is scary to me. So just be mindful of that. Don't blind those four-wheelers. Don't cover them up with all that water. Extremely dangerous.
Yeah. Now, great points. And the BCB way, and the BCBs is, courtesy, respect for others, right? And that's a great point, Donna. When you do that, they're blinded for 2 to 3 seconds where they can't see. And that's kind of another thing to be thinking about when you're checking your mirrors. Use your gas and your brakes to time that so that doesn't happen, especially when you know you're coming up on a ponding situation, because it's very likely you're going to potentially cause an accident. And then, I don't know how that plays out in a court of law. I mean, it's weather, but still, you bring yourself under scrutiny, and you never want to do that in a lawsuit. Who else we got, producer?
All right, Harvey Shaw, were you wanting to share?
Harvey.
Morning, everybody. Morning. Now, as like Donna and Lonnie was saying, when it's been raining like a long time and hard and coming down like a hard rain in these construction zones, when you got just a Jersey wall separating like the eastbound, westbound traffic, whatever, some of these four-wheelers and even big trucks, they'll be in the left lane where the water pond's at next to the Jersey wall, and it will throw water over onto the oncoming traffic. Now, I've had it happen to me a few times, and it just floods my windshield. I mean, it's just where you just almost got to hard brake sometimes.
Yep.
And, you just got to be prepared for that, too. I mean, it's just like a big old, just like somebody dumping a 50-gallon water barrel just on your windshield all at once.
Yep.
And it blinds you there for a few seconds. Yep. But anyway, that's all. Y'all have a good day and be safe.
Hey, thank you, Harvey. Yeah, and as we showed on the weather map, about 70% of the country is going to have a chance at rain today. There's about 15 states out of the 50 that aren't. So, you just got to be mindful and be ready for it and have a game plan, right? Yeah. Hey, if it's light rain, this is what I'm going to do. Hey, if it's heavy rain, I'm going to plan to stop and maybe take a 30, 40-minute break, see what I can do, maybe let it get out of the way. And if not, then you make that decision, to move a lot slower. But just kind of be thinking about that the areas you're going to. As soon as you start hitting a little rain, start having that plan. Hey, I know my next one's 30 miles. If this thing gets tougher, I'm going to stop there, maybe grab a soda or whatever you need to do to take a break. Get yourself out of that, because one of the things it will do is it'll give you a 30-minute break from the stress.
Yes.
Right? Know your situation. Know the time of day. If it's rush hour, right? Try to stop somewhere for a minimum of 2 hours and pause your 14 if you're alert and awake. Again, remember, pausing your 14 is a great tool to use if you deem it beneficial to you. But also, it's now making your day actually 16 hours, right? Because you paused it by 2, so you still get your 14, but that 2 was still awake and alive. So you got to know your body. But the one thing that we know is stress causes fatigue. And so when you take that 2 hours, you're taking yourself out of that stress. You may even get an hour and a half nap in there that you just maybe need. And then you're going to be better off to do what you want to do. But that is solely up to you. But don't forget that tool in your toolbox. Yep. Anybody else there, producer? All right. Hey, everybody. Great job. We're going to close it out with a prayer, and we will talk with everybody after that this afternoon. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we, as it rains today, let's give all drivers out there on the roadways some smart wisdom, Lord, but let them act on it. Let them slow down. Folks, Lord, help them understand that speed kills, and we've got to slow it down. Heavenly Father, as we protect each and every one of our drivers out there on the road, don't forget that their families need you. I know you know all. So there's a lot of families out there struggling. We specifically lift up the family of Brian Baldwin, Lord, and you received him in the other day. And so we just ask that you give the family strength. You don't have to understand why, but just to know that you've got a plan, and we'll all be together at some point with you in your kingdom, Lord. Lord, we also never, ever want to forget our dear brother, Larry Graham. Lord, again, thank you so much for the visit. It was so good to just see him and just be around him and be able to show him the love and respect we have for all his years with us, but just for the life that he is and shares with us. And we're all better for it, Lord. Heavenly Father, we pray that you remove this COVID pandemic, that you give us the way to just beat it, Lord, so that we can get back to normal lives and keeping you as our focal point, Heavenly Father. Lord, as always, we thank you for your son, Jesus, and it's in his name we pray. Amen. Hey, we'll see everybody. Don't forget, 10:30 today for the Federal Motor Carrier section, 30 minutes. And with that, we'll take a break.
This is Drive Safe Dave here. Going to do another safety show about Get Out and Look. Ben Turner's hooking up, and he's going to reposition the trailer into a new spot. He's going to demonstrate in the rain what it means to get out and look. Here we are outside getting wet, but you know what? It does not deter Ben of doing the right thing by getting out of the trailer and walking back and making sure it is safe back there before he backs up into the spot. He checks all the way around the trailer and then comes back and gets in the truck. Notice the lights are flashing. He blows the horn and starts the process of getting back into the spot. Here he is concluding it. Flasher's still going, making sure that he's visible and everybody knows what's going on. But you know what? Another reason this is successful is because he chose to get out and look the BCB way. Thanks, everybody, and have a great and safe day.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. It is time to remind new company drivers, if you hired on that third week of July, please go into Paycom, and it is time to complete your open enrollment for benefits. So please go into Paycom, click on benefits, and then click on 2021 enrollment, and it will walk you through there. If you have any questions, please give me a call. I'm at extension 168, or you can shoot a quick email to hr@bcbtransport.com. Today there are no birthdays or anniversaries, but it is the perfect time to announce July's driver of the month. It is Mr. James Von Cannell. Congratulations. I will be calling you to find out where you would like your gift card and get your shirt ordered for you. So again, thank you for being safe out there, getting on those safety calls, doing everything you do, and congratulations to you, James. Everyone, please continue wearing your mask, washing your hands, using that antibacterial. Stay safe and healthy. Thanks.
Good morning. Welcome to BCB Live. A lot of stuff going on Drive Safe Day. We can start overseas, but we had some major accidents here in 30. Did you see that last night?
Yeah, I didn't see all of the details on that going out on 30, but I think it was in Rowlett, and I think it involved a big rig.
It did involve a big rig. It involved a fatality. Highway was shut down until about 11, 12 o'clock last night. Happened at 6 o'clock. Again, if you're part of BCB Live, if you're out there and you're driving right now, you're looking, you're a customer, you're in a car, what we preach here is for you to be safe, to throw away, focus on what you're doing right now, those distractions, that cell phone. Let me tell you something. It can wait, and we want it to wait. We want you to make a difference out there on the highway. Drive safe, Dave. Some crazy stuff as well going on over in Afghanistan.
Yeah, you look at the tragedy that's happening right there. It is all reminiscent of a pullout in Saigon in '75. I'll tell you right now, the historians are laying down quickly what they believe to be the cause, the effect, the reasons, but it doesn't do any good. But as you look back and you see the vacuum of government created in this region, and I'm not sure, truly, Rick, I can't even fathom right now exactly why and how this has played out over the last few months. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and we saw the Kabul being taken over. I think the only thing not yet taken over is that airport.
Yeah,
right?
there's 2,500 troops right
Boy,
now
was
secured.
that chaos last night, though, at that airport. I've never seen anything like that in my life going on at that airport.
Yeah, panic, pandemonium. They had troops stationed out there to secure the airport. All of these people rushed it, pushed their way through. Several were killed while trying. I do know that the U.S. forces fired upon a few people, and several were killed not only during the takeoff. The video is tragic. But also several were killed in a small airstrike right there next to the airport.
Yeah, some of the big issues that are going on right now are the door-to-door searches and the people wondering, how am I going to even get to the airport? You know, am I going to have to pay the Taliban, or how do I get to the airport to get out of here? Those are some issues that are real right now. Hey, drive safe. Also over in Haiti, man, just some devastating earthquake. And then last night they get pummeled again by some rain, 10.1 inches of rain. Just bad stuff going on over there.
Yeah, I think 1,300 were killed right off the bat. They're not even sure. There's a lot still missing.
Yeah, the death count now is at 1,419, actually. So 1,419, 6,900 folks injured, and over 37,000 buildings have been destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, there are regions where people don't even have homes or shelter from the storms that are taking place right there. I think that's Grace, right? That's pounding them and making it really difficult for them to endure. Can you imagine being stuck out in a hurricane with no shelter?
Yeah, I can't imagine. And what they need right now is some grace. You know, they need grace. You know, thank goodness it was a depression. It could have been worse, believe it or not. But thank goodness, you know, that they didn't get pummeled with a major hurricane.
High winds.
Yeah, high winds. Hey, drive safe. I've never, you know, actually I have been involved in an earthquake. So I woke up to, and I was told there was one. But have you ever really been involved in a major earthquake at all?
I don't know if it was major. I was in a bowling alley in L.A., and I got all the pins were falling over. I wasn't sure.
You're like, heck yeah!
All the pins, and then somebody yells earthquake, and then you realize that you're in one. It wasn't big. It wasn't like a 7.2, but it was a minor earthquake in Los Angeles. I think I was 16 years old or something like that. But I was standing there, and all the pins started shaking, wobbling, and they started falling over. And I was like, what's going on? And then I heard somebody yell earthquake. But yeah,
Producer, you got any earthquake stories?
You know, I do not. I'll be honest with you. I have never been in an earthquake before. I have woken up to be told that there was an earthquake, but I've never felt one personally. Luckily, actually, I should say, just because it hits places like this, and it's a travesty. And I don't want to be around something whenever it is as bad as it is right there.
So you talk about the Richter scale, and you talk about earthquakes, and they said a 7.2. And just so everybody understands, when you go from a 6.3 to a 6.4, that's 10 times the magnitude. So can you imagine if you go from a 6.4 to a 6.5, that's 10 times the magnitude of that. So when you get all the way up to 7.2, you're talking about the ground heaving. You're talking about barely able to stand. You're talking about it's like liquid sand. I mean, that's how bad it is when you look at the Richter scale. And when you get up to those sevens, I mean, you're talking about things.
What was the one in California during the World Series? Wasn't that
6.8, I believe. I think it was 6.8.
It just tore that place up, the bridge. You know, just an amazing
thing.
The
freeways collapsed.
Oh, yeah. No,
all the freeways. All the freeways fell and collapsed on top of one another. They didn't have freeways for a while.
You know, we had, you know, nothing like this, but we just had the mudslides off 70, right? That shut that highway down. I-70 gets shut down. It is partially open. I don't know if you saw that or not. Hey, but listen to this, Drive Safe Dave. 440 loads of mud and debris had been carried off over that weekend, that first weekend. 440 truckloads of mud and debris at 13 tons each. That is just hard for me to fathom. That's 11,400,000 pounds of mud and debris getting hauled off from a mudslide.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's the mountain. I mean,
yeah.
You're moving mountains, and they're not done. I mean, they just basically cleared enough so that you could have single lane traffic moving through. And I think that I read that the congestion is still massive. I mean, if you're going to be moving through that area, you're looking at massive slowdowns going through there, and
yeah, that whole area is open. You know, one lane each way going. So yeah, some massive shutdowns going on through there. So, you know, if you're going that way, make sure you get ready for that, right? You prepare for a slowdown right there. If you can, we're going to still say go above 80. go to your destination if you're going, that side of California, I guess. Or
yeah, if you're going to be heading west, or east, you need to make sure that you're aware of what's going on. The delays are massive, and I'm not even sure how long they are. They didn't actually say, but single lane traffic running through there. I think they said something like 2,200 loads, 2,200 trucks pass through there. What was that, every day in that lane, in that deal? So that's a lot of truck traffic going through there.
No, it is. It's and you get to California. That's if you're in Colorado, if you're going through that area, that's how you're going to get there, right? Hey, we talked yesterday, and I thought it was interesting. We talked yesterday about autonomous vehicles. We had some drivers get on there and hop on as well as we spoke about that. But one of the major concerns was this, Drive Safe Dave, was what happens to the big truck, right? The big truck, when we're running down the highway, there's been an accident. We're using flares, we're using hand signals, to go that way, go that way. What happens to that? And amazingly enough, you have Tesla. Tesla right now sends out an alert last night. Can you show that picture too, Dave? This is pretty amazing, the cause of these accidents that Tesla's having right now. When the National Transportation Safety Board goes back and looks, it says that it's identified 11 crashes since 2018 in which Teslas on autopilot or traffic-aware cruise control have hit vehicles at scenes where first responders have used flashing lights, flares, illuminated arrow boards, or cones warning of hazards. Yeah, isn't that exactly what we talked about yesterday? Exactly some of the concerns that were expressed yesterday. Hey, what happens when it's not so normal anymore?
Right.
When that highway is shut down for whatever reason, because of a mudslide, because of a flood, flash flood. What happened? How do these vehicles register that, read that the human eye sees and reacts to?
Yeah, and also even something so simple as verbal instruction. How do you give the computer verbal instruction by the police officer or any first responder? Hey, I need you to back up and move out of the way. How do you do that on a verbal instruction? How do you do that to an autonomous vehicle and make those things happen?
Well, which is why the NHTSA right now is investigating Tesla. This is the first time that the U.S. has formally opened an investigation over its autopilot system. So this is just a sign of how hard these things are going to start getting cracked down, I think, over the next few years. Because this is really, it started all the way back in 2016, where some of these first crashes that were being reported. And now, all the way up to 2020, we've had, I believe, upwards of 31 crashes involving partially automated driver systems as of starting in June 2016. And of those, 25 involved the Tesla autopilots, and 10 deaths were reported in just those 25. We're going to see a lot of these come to an apex, and we're going to see some pretty, I think, heavy jurisdiction come down on the autopilot
There has to be some oversight. We don't really have an oversight, right?
But let's face it, at the end of the day, the only reason these were reported was that they were an accident. Another vehicle was involved. What we heard yesterday is they don't have to share that data with anybody. So the stuff that they find out on their own, that becomes internal information that they use to maybe fix or definitely not share with the government.
Yeah.
So there's things, that you and I just don't know about.
Yeah, we're talking, and we're not talking about small amounts of money on keeping things secret, right? We're talking about billions of dollars, and it's maybe just to them, oh well, it's a computer glitch or whatever. We'll get it fixed, but that computer glitch transcends to safety, right? It transcends into what's going on out there, and there's still a lot of questions. But I do believe that we do need to have some oversight, right? We need to have some administration.
Look, let's face it. We're talking about life and death. We're talking about safety. When it comes to the BCBs of trucking, the be safe, communicating if you can, be on time. We're not just trying to huddle that and not share that. We want the whole world to know.
Wow.
We want you to know about the BCBs because it has to do with protecting life. Sometimes data such as this needs to be shared so other folks can learn from it as well.
Yeah, and there may have been a workaround with one of these other upstart computer tech companies that have figured out how to do that. Why that kind of stuff probably needs to be shared. And when it comes to safety, shouldn't we share the safety data? Shouldn't we share the safety information? I'm not talking about the other stuff that we do. I'm talking about the safety data.
I'm right with you. When it comes to safety, let me tell you something. It is all of our jobs. It's your job as a four-wheeler. It's your job as a shipper receiver. It's your job in the office, in safety, in hiring, in HR. And yes, it is your job as a trucker to make sure that you are the safest one out there and to help out others. If you see somebody struggling, drive safe, Dave, you don't just point and laugh at them.
No, negative. You get out and help. You do what you can. I mean, that's what we are. We're our family. We are an industry, and we have to do everything that we can to try to benefit, help the industry. And if you see somebody out there trying to back up in a really tight spot, if you try to see somebody moving into a dock in a really tight spot, do the next best thing. Set your brake, make sure your truck's secure, and walk over and help.
If you see somebody entering in the big guy right here, say, no, do not enter, baby. Do not enter.
Yeah.
It's all about safety here at BCB Live. We are the safest station in the nation. Hey, speaking of safety, drive safe, Dave.
Come on.
Let's hop into Berlin.
Yeah.
Come on.
Sure. I'm not sure how this trans took place, but the nurse seems to have switched saline solution with the vaccine.
I think she dropped it is what the official reason is. She dropped it and she tried, because she was also posting some things again, but she dropped it supposedly, and she tried to hide the fact that she dropped a vial full of that Pfizer and replaced it with a good old saline, which probably, let's face it, had the same effect.
No.
You know what? Here's my question, Drive Safe Dave.
No.
How many people, producer, here we go, how many people still called in sick to work the next day and said, oh man, that reaction got me.
I'm sure that people probably still called in, but let's not spread misinformation here.
Yeah,
It does. The shot does actually work. Let's not.
Has proven to be effective in the control and the spread of COVID-19.
One else has, though, as well, hey, that mask wearing is important.
It is.
Washing your hands is still so vitally important. We've got to make sure that we are continuing to wash our hands all the time. If you're out there at a truck stop, if you're at a shipper, again, this goes to everybody. It is so daggum important, drive safe, to keep your hands washed. And I've seen it relaxed. I've seen it relaxed inside of offices, especially. We have got to make sure that we're keeping our hands clean.
Yeah, and I do want to say in regards to this too, that it is still a very real thing. Yesterday it was announced that one of our former drivers, Brian Baldwin, and his family had suffered. He passed yesterday due to COVID, but we want to say special prayer to him and his family that they get through this. If ever you're here at BCB, you're always family, and it matters what happens to you, and it matters what happens to everybody out there. So a small prayer to him and to his family of what they're going through and their loss at this time.
Why don't you do a quick prayer, and then we'll go to that freight and review.
Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you today with all and ask for all of your grace. We ask that you especially comfort Brian and his family. We ask that you reach out to them and give them what they need today, the love that they need and the blessings that they need too. Father, we also ask that you take and you make safe all that you with this company and everybody out there. Please keep them safe. Please keep them protected. Father, we ask all these things in your name. Amen. All right.
All right, and I am back here at BCB Live's Freight and Review. Hey, we're just going to hop in real quick. We're going to look at the outbound freight. Listen, it's still very high, and it seems like Sir Rick says this all the time, like we can just go back and hit replay because it continues to stay very high. Volumes at 15,755 in totality. Look, this is back in last year in August when the freight started hitting its peak. And you can see it's really never slowed down. We're going on a year of a lot of freight going on. I do want you, however, to look at this right here. We're going to look at the ocean shipments. Ocean shipments are also important because that's freight that's coming outside of what we're shipping out here in the States, right? These are coming inside the ports, creating more freight, more truckloads to be shipped out via rail. A lot of local freight, let's face it. and then a lot of freight that they're having to transload into warehouses to get moved out. We look at the ocean shipment index. This blue right here is this year. This is last year right here. Over a 35% increase year over year in total volume coming inside. A lot of freight. I mean, look at that. We're almost at 245 as opposed to 175 during the same period last year, okay? Freight continues to go. We see 220.8 on the ocean TEU volumes. Ocean containers continue to just come inside here. We have record years. You know, it really is. It's record freight coming in right now inside this country. You know, the only folks that I think we're going to see a decline on, and I'm curious what happens today as Home Depot and Walmart, right? Big shippers, as they report their earnings. You know what? Home Depot, I struggle to see how they're going to beat last year's freight. That was just crazy. Everybody was building. Everybody was spending their money at Home Depot, buying lumber, buying everything to fix their house. What happens to them going forward? A lot of this country right now, freight's going crazy, especially compared to last year. For folks like that, I don't think it's going to be the same kind of year-over-year improvement that they had. We'll see here in just a little bit as the market opens in about an hour and a half.
I was out on the highway, just loving my job, feeling blessed with the presence of Buckle Up Bob. After this run, I'll get home to the ones that I love. Drive safe, Dave. He's got the passion to get the job done. Spreading the news and sharing their views, solid as brick. Here comes Sir Rick. You've been safety struck. Thank you, sir.
All right.
You know what? Does anybody else think that Music Man Mike's just going to give Leroy a big old fat kiss?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he's trying to sign.